Deep in the Cotswolds countryside lies some of the most haunted sites in the UK. Ancient manor houses creak with unexplained footsteps, while flickering candlelight reveals shadowy figures that vanish without a trace. Abandoned inns echo with ghostly laughter, and forest trails grow unnaturally silent as if watched by unseen eyes. Burial mounds whisper with voices from long-forgotten rituals, and stone churches hold centuries of restless spirits. From phantom monks to weeping ladies, each site carries chilling legends passed down through generations. Beneath the region's peaceful beauty lies a hidden world of hauntings that refuses to be forgotten. Now we will visit the most haunted Cotswold sites in the UK. Number 1. Stow-on-the-Wold. Stow-on-the-Wold may look like a peaceful, charming market town in the heart of the Cotswolds, but beneath its picture-perfect appearance lies a dark and chilling history. Known for its bloody past and ghostly legends, this small town is often called one of the most haunted places in the Cotswolds. Stow-on-the-Wold was the site of the final battle of the English Civil War in 1646. Hundreds of men were killed in the town square. Some say their ghosts still march through the streets at night. Locals and visitors have reported the sounds of shouting, clashing swords, and even drum beats echoing in the quiet of the evening, though no one is there. The town's medieval church, St. Edward's, is one of the eeriest places in Stow. The twisted yew trees framing the north door are said to guard a supernatural gateway. Some believe this door inspired J.R.R. Tolkien's entrance to the mines of Moria in The Lord of the Rings. Inside the church, cold spots and ghostly whispers have been felt and heard by those brave enough to visit alone. A hooded figure is sometimes seen near the altar, disappearing before anyone can approach. The old inns of Stow add to its haunted reputation. One historic coaching inn is said to be visited by the ghost of a young serving girl who was mistreated and died tragically. Guests have heard crying at night, and some have even seen her figure standing by their bedside, vanishing when they wake fully. Another ghost, believed to be a Cavalier soldier from the Civil War, has been seen sitting quietly in the pub's corner with a mug of ale, until he disappears into thin air. The fields surrounding the town are no less spooky. Phantom horsemen have been spotted galloping across the landscape, especially during foggy nights. Locals believe these are spirits of the cavalry who died in battle, doomed to ride forever. Many residents of Stow-on-the-Wold have their own ghost stories, tales of flickering lights, footsteps in empty rooms, and strange figures in mirrors. Stow-on-the-Wold may look like a sleepy market town, but for those interested in the paranormal, it is a place where the past never truly rests. Its haunted history makes it one of the most terrifying and fascinating sites in the Cotswolds. Number 2. Lower Swell Village. Lower Swell is a peaceful-looking village near Stow-on-the-Wold, surrounded by green fields and ancient stone cottages. But beneath its quiet beauty lies a deep, dark history. Lower Swell is often called one of the most haunted places in the Cotswolds, filled with eerie legends, ghostly sightings, and chilling stories passed down through generations. One of the most terrifying legends of Lower Swell is the tale of the phantom coach and horses. On certain misty nights, people have reported hearing the thunder of horses' hoofs racing down the village lanes. Some have even seen a ghostly black coach pulled by 4 headless horses, rushing through the darkness before suddenly vanishing. The coach is said to be cursed, connected to a nobleman who once made a deal with the devil and now must ride forever, unable to rest. Another creepy part of the village's past surrounds an ancient stone known as the Whittle Stone, found near the crossroads outside the village. According to legend, this stone turns over every time the church bell tolls at midnight. Some believe it marks a buried treasure, while others say it covers a cursed grave. People who have tried to move the stone have fallen ill or suffered strange accidents shortly afterward. Locals also speak of a lady in white seen walking alone near the old mill at dusk. She is described as pale, silent, and glowing faintly in the dark. It is said she was once a miller's daughter who drowned herself after her lover was killed in the Civil War. Her ghost is still seen by those walking along the stream at twilight. Footsteps in empty rooms, sudden drops in temperature, flickering candlelight, and whispered voices have all been experienced in many of the older homes in the village. Some visitors report the feeling of being watched, especially near the churchyard and the old crossroads. Lower Swell may seem like a quiet Cotswold village, but for those who believe in ghosts and spirits, it is one of the most haunted spots in the region. With ghost coaches, cursed stones, and tragic spirits, it is a place where the past feels frighteningly close and sometimes refuses to stay buried. Number 3. Littledean Hall. Littledean Hall is an ancient and deeply mysterious house on the edge of the Forest of Dean, in the western part of the Cotswolds. With a history stretching back over 1,000 years, it is one of the oldest properties in the area, and also one of the most haunted. Built on top of a Roman temple and burial ground, the house seems to be a magnet for paranormal activity. It is often described as one of the most terrifying places in the Cotswolds, with stories of spirits, shadows, and sinister energies. The most famous ghost at Littledean Hall is the Dark Monk, a tall, hooded figure who glides silently through the hallways. He is most often seen near the old chapel, where the air grows icy cold and heavy with dread. Witnesses report feeling suddenly breathless and overwhelmed by fear in his presence. He never speaks, never shows his face, and vanishes without a trace. Another terrifying story comes from the haunted mirror in one of the upstairs bedrooms. Visitors have claimed to see strange reflections, faces staring back at them that aren't their own. Some people have even refused to stay in the room overnight, saying they felt a dark presence watching them as they tried to sleep. Footsteps on the stairs, doors opening and slamming on their own, and ghostly whispers in empty rooms are common experiences for those who enter the house. The spirits here don't seem shy. In fact, they seem to want to be noticed, and sometimes they make themselves known in disturbing ways. One of the most chilling parts of Littledean Hall is the ancient Roman burial ground in the garden. People say they've seen shadowy figures standing motionless among the trees at night, only to disappear when approached. Animals refuse to go near the site, and electronic devices often fail when nearby. Locals say the building holds a dark energy that never truly sleeps. Some visitors report feeling sick, dizzy, or overcome with sadness while walking through the hall, as if something is trying to push them out. Littledean Hall is not just haunted, it's a place where the past is still alive, restless, and waiting. Number 4. Frampton Mansell Woods. Deep in the heart of the Cotswolds lies Frampton Mansell Woods, a beautiful yet deeply unsettling stretch of ancient forest land. Surrounded by quiet countryside and winding footpaths, the woods seem calm and inviting by day, but after dark, they take on a far more sinister character. For generations, this place has been feared by locals who whisper of ghosts, curses, and strange energies that haunt the trees. Many consider it one of the most haunted sites in the entire Cotswolds. One of the most chilling tales involves the ghostly children said to wander the woods at twilight. Their laughter can be heard echoing through the trees, even when no one is around. Some walkers have spotted pale figures hiding behind tree trunks or darting through the underbrush, only to vanish without a trace. Legend claims they were victims of a mysterious 18th century illness that swept through a nearby settlement, leaving the area cursed and abandoned. Another disturbing presence is the Lady of the Woods, a sorrowful figure in tattered clothing who roams the forest in silence. Witnesses say she appears near the old stone bridge, her face hidden beneath a veil. If approached, she vanishes into the mist. Local stories suggest she was a widow who lost her husband in war and took her own life by the river. Some say her cries can still be heard on stormy nights. The woods are also known for phantom lights, glowing orbs that float through the trees and lead walkers off the path. Some believe these are spirits trying to lure people deeper into the woods, where they become disoriented and lost. Several hikers have reported feeling watched or followed by something unseen, and a few have even claimed to lose time while in the forest, emerging hours later with no memory of what happened. There are reports of strange symbols carved into trees, sudden drops in temperature, and areas where sound seems to completely vanish. Even animals behave oddly here, often refusing to enter certain parts of the woods. Frampton Mansell Woods may look like a peaceful Cotswold retreat, but it hides a dark and mysterious past. With ghostly children, vanishing women, and strange lights in the darkness, it remains one of the most terrifying haunted places in the region. Number 5. Bibury Village. Bibury, often described as the most beautiful village in England, is nestled peacefully along the River Colne in Gloucestershire. With its charming stone cottages, gently flowing streams, and postcard-perfect views, it's hard to imagine a more idyllic place. But behind Bibury's picture-perfect charm lies a dark and ghostly past. For centuries, tales of haunted homes, restless spirits, and eerie figures have made this village one of the most haunted sites in the Cotswolds. One of the most chilling legends comes from Arlington Row, the famous row of ancient weavers' cottages. These beautiful homes date back to the 14th century and are believed to be cursed. Visitors have reported hearing phantom footsteps, the sound of spinning wheels, and whispers in Old English, even when the cottages are empty. Some say the spirits of weavers still linger, forced to repeat their work for eternity. At night, shadowy figures have been seen moving past the windows, and strange cold spots hover near the doorways. There is also the tale of the Grey Lady, believed to be the ghost of a woman who drowned herself in the river after being left at the altar centuries ago. Her pale, sorrowful figure is said to appear along the banks of the River Colne on foggy evenings. Some say she calls out softly to passers-by, begging them to help her find her lost love. Bibury's Swan Hotel, a historic coaching inn near the bridge, is said to be haunted by the ghost of a former innkeeper who died mysteriously in the cellar. Guests have reported flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and hearing heavy footsteps above their rooms in the dead of night. One visitor even claimed to see a figure staring at them from the window, from a room that was completely empty. The churchyard near St. Mary's Church is another hotspot for paranormal activity. Locals have seen strange lights floating among the tombstones, and some have heard distant church bells ringing when no one is around. Despite its stunning appearance, Bibury hides a haunted heart. Ghostly weavers, lost brides, and mysterious shadows make this village not just one of the prettiest, but also one of the most terrifying places in the Cotswolds. Number 6. Minchinhampton Common. Minchinhampton Common, perched high above the Slad Valleys, is a breathtaking expanse of open grassland and rolling hills. Loved by walkers and nature lovers for its panoramic views and wild beauty, it hides a much darker and more mysterious reputation beneath its surface. For centuries, Minchinhampton Common has been considered one of the most haunted sites in the Cotswolds, a place where strange lights, ghostly figures, and chilling sounds disturb the quiet countryside. One of the most terrifying legends tied to the Common is that of the Headless Horseman. Locals say that on moonless nights, a dark rider on a black horse gallops across the hills, his cloak flapping behind him, and his severed head held beneath his arm. The ghost is believed to be a Civil War soldier who was decapitated in a skirmish nearby. Witnesses claim to hear the thundering of hooves, only to turn and find nothing there. Another haunting tale involves the Ghost Riders, a phantom carriage pulled by black horses said to appear near the crossroads. The carriage is sometimes seen speeding towards startled travelers before vanishing into thin air. It is linked to an old tale of a doomed couple who died in a coach crash while trying to elope. The ancient burial mounds scattered across the Common are also the source of eerie activity. These Neolithic barrows, silent and mysterious, are said to be haunted by the spirits of those buried long ago. At dusk, glowing orbs have been seen hovering over the mounds, and some visitors have reported a feeling of being watched or even followed by something unseen. Strange whispers on the wind, sudden freezing cold gusts, and feelings of dread are common among those who walk the Common after dark. Dogs often react strongly in certain areas, barking at nothing or refusing to go further. There are also stories of ghostly children's laughter, thought to be the spirits of youngsters who died from disease in the 1600s when the area was briefly used as a makeshift quarantine. Though Minchinhampton Common looks peaceful during the day, it transforms at night into a place of unease and shadow. With its ghostly horsemen, haunted barrows, and spectral carriages, it remains one of the most terrifying and unforgettable haunted sites in the Cotswolds. Number 7. Leckhampton Hill. Leckhampton Hill, looming above Cheltenham with its dramatic cliffs, winding trails, and ancient quarries, is one of the most iconic natural landmarks in the Cotswolds. By day, it offers stunning views and peaceful walks, but by night it becomes a place of fear, mystery, and ghostly legend. With a long and eerie history of death, tragedy, and supernatural sightings, Leckhampton Hill is often described as the most haunted site in the Cotswolds. The most infamous tale is that of the Silent Quarryman, a ghostly figure seen wandering the old limestone quarries. Wearing traditional 19th century work clothes and carrying a pickaxe, he's said to be the spirit of a man who was crushed in a rockfall during a long-forgotten mining accident. Walkers report seeing his shadowy figure standing near the edge of the cliffs, only to vanish the moment anyone gets too close. His presence is often accompanied by the sound of distant hammering and low moans echoing across the stones. Then there is the Screaming Woman of Devil's Chimney, a natural rock formation shaped like a twisted spire. Legend has it that a woman was pushed from the top by a jealous lover, or perhaps threw herself off in despair. Her screams are said to ring through the night wind, especially during full moons, chilling the blood of anyone nearby. Some have even claimed to see a female figure climbing the rocks, only to disappear before reaching the summit. Leckhampton Hill is also haunted by the ghosts of suicide victims, as the cliffs have tragically been the site of many deaths over the years. People speak of strange cold spots, ghostly whispers, and a sense of being watched, or worse, followed while walking along the escarpment paths. Some hikers have reported losing time or becoming disoriented, as if the hill itself were trying to confuse or trap them. There are tales of phantom lights flickering in the trees, voices calling from nowhere, and animals reacting in panic to unseen forces. Even hardened locals refuse to visit the hill after sunset, believing it to be cursed or spiritually charged. With its tragic history, ancient stones, and spectral wanderers, Leckhampton Hill holds its title as one of the most haunted and most unsettling places in the Cotswolds. Number 8. Slad Valley. Slad Valley, nestled just outside Stroud, is one of the most breathtakingly beautiful locations in the Cotswolds. With its sweeping meadows, ancient woodland, and honey-colored cottages, it has long inspired poets and painters, most famously Laurie Lee, who immortalized the valley in his memoir Cider with Rosie. But behind its natural beauty lies a darker, more chilling truth. Slad Valley is considered by many to be one of the most haunted places in the Cotswolds, filled with strange sightings, eerie voices, and ghostly presences that linger long after sunset. The most famous legend of the valley is that of the Lantern Man, a ghostly figure who appears on misty nights carrying a dim lantern through the trees. Locals say he was once a shepherd who became lost during a snowstorm and froze to death. Now, his spirit wanders endlessly, the glow of his lantern flickering just ahead on footpaths, luring travelers deeper into the woods, only to disappear, leaving them lost and confused. Another haunting tale comes from the Slad graveyard, where several visitors have reported seeing the apparition of a weeping woman in black standing beside a particular grave. No one knows exactly who she is, but she is often seen around the anniversary of her death, silently mourning with her face hidden under a dark veil. Some believe she was a mother who lost all her children to illness during the 1800s and never found peace. There are also strange sounds in the woods, phantom laughter, ghostly singing, and even distant church bells that ring out when no church is near. Walkers have reported a sudden drop in temperature and the overwhelming feeling of being watched or followed through the trees. Slad Valley's haunted reputation doesn't stop at ghosts. There are tales of elemental spirits in the woods, ancient, inhuman forces tied to the land itself. Some visitors describe a deep, unnatural silence or feelings of dread in certain areas, as if the valley is alive and aware. Though it remains a place of beauty by day, Slad Valley transforms after dark. With its ghostly lantern bearers, mourning spirits, and mysterious forest energies, it is truly one of the most haunted and spine-chilling places in the Cotswolds.